The big brother. From the beginning, the Soviet Union wanted to be the big brother. Its system was organized on the notion of brotherhood, but the use of the word big was, in its mind, its exclusivity. The Soviet Union did this even in the Union. Russia was the big Soviet and nothing less. Its system wanted equality only for the others. It did the same thing in the framework of barbarity. Its barbarities, its collaboration were only with small barbarities. The Nazi system did the same, but at the end, the Soviet Union proved that its power was incomparable. The Cold War's duration is 44 years, but we have to keep in mind the 30 years of the anti-Cold War as a preparation. We speak very often about the proxy wars of the Cold War, but we have to realize that proxy wars were in fact already used in the anti-Cold War. They were a way to consolidate the power of the big brother, but also to train its military systems. By the way, it's interesting to see the proxy wars as operation in the sense of the Soviet Union. The operation was created between the concepts of the tactics and strategy. It was a small strategy of a big brother. The notion of big brother. So you remember that it was created by Orson Welles. But very few people know that in fact it was created for the Soviet Union because it belonged to writers who have written many books about this, not only for himself, but in fact in a mission in the Cold War. Yes, because they asked to several writers to do something like this, to write novels, books, to explain the intention of the Soviet Union. And by the way, they asked him also about other writers if they should put them in the list. And for some of them, he says no. So you see, you take a book, but you don't know the substrate of the book. In reality, the book was made for that. So now, in our novel, we use the big brother as a notion, an extra notion, but in reality, it was made for that. So it is in fact a self-reference. We use the notion that was being used for that in the same place, in the same framework. So, yes, a big brother is watching you is exactly the same thing with the Soviet Union and now with Russia and the hacking system. Big brother is watching you. Even in the series Person of Interest, you can see it. And they use this notion of big brother is watching you. In reality, is the Samaritan, not the machine. So here we see that this notion was not only made for the others, but also in the system, in the union. So we are all brothers, but I'm the biggest. So I have the right to see you, to watch you. So in reality, in the Soviet Union, and you remember, you don't have the word Russia in the name, but Russia was the big Soviet. All the others were small. But we are Soviets. So in reality, they wanted equality only for the 14, not for the 15. So they use it inside and outside. For example, with the satellite countries, okay? For that, we have to keep in mind that they don't need big barbarity. They prefer small barbarities, which are controlled by the biggest one. So this is a network of barbarities. The Nazi system wanted to do the same thing, but it was a failure. So the Soviet Union was at another level, very deep, a very deep control of everything, inside, outside, other borders, everywhere. So imagine that they did this for 30 years, plus 45, 44, okay? And in this duration, they had an experience in that field, and they keep this experience even after. So how to control all the other person? And one way to do it, it's also, I think, in their mind, a crash test. Create some proxy wars, just to train your military systems, okay? No big war, only proxy. We are in the Cold War, but we have to train our guys. So I can send them there, or there, I don't care. Not very important, just a way to have a robust network of barbarity. So this notion looks like, in fact, as a spider. You have one spider, the big brother, okay? And in its networks, small spiders, all are controlled by the same. So it's very easy to go further, to go deeper, to go outside. In fact, to think that the whole world is just one chessboard. That's the point of the big brother.